Yo, what's up guys? Inco here with a new build video, and this is for Energy Blade CoC Inquisitor. We're just going to be going through some invitations here. These are all with the +2 Atlas tree nodes and that, so monster level 85, more difficult than that. And I try to get like increased or more monster life and everything on these ones. The build, we initially started off with like Prism Guardian, and I wasn't too happy with it. It was just like Prism Guardian, but it had like 50k armor and a bunch of evasion. I would still die to stuff though, and I wasn't too happy with it. So we ended up swapping to Aegis Shield, going max block with like Tempest Shield on that, and dropping Determination, and going Melting into the Flesh to get 80 all res. And I gotta say, it feels a lot better. This build is very tanky. Also, we're doing a double CoC setup. So like for clearing, it's Ice Spear and Freezing Pulse right now. And I actually swap out Freezing Pulse and use crit damage for single target for like invitations and that. The nice thing about it is it's generically set up with getting all of that flat damage from Energy Blade. And we're also using Zealotry, so there's no auras focused towards one specific damage. So you can literally use any combination of 2 spell gems or just one if you want, and map with that. We tested like everything. Notable ones that were pretty good was like Purifying Flame, the Divergent one, giving you extra damage with the Consecrated Ground. Blazing Salvo was pretty good. Divergent Ball Lightning was pretty fun. There was a lot that was actually really good. Ultimately, I liked this combo of Ice Spear and Freezing Pulse for a combination of just great clear, and then also if you want even more single target, you can swap one gem. But if you just want to leave Freezing Pulse, you're more than fine to do so. I personally swap Freezing Pulse into increased crit damage for more damage. But yeah, we're just going through these invitations here. I mean, this build can base tank Sirus beams, pretty much like anything you can throw at it. One thing I would upgrade is getting Corrupted Blood immunity. And a key thing here is to make sure that you always start your 2 flasks at the start of the map. We're missing 2 flask slots because we're using the Traitor Keystone, and we perma sustain our 2 flasks. We'll go over that later when we go over the gear, the jewels, gems, everything like that. But yeah, this is definitely by no means like a zoomer build. You can make it faster with whatever movement skill you want to use. We're just using Flame Dash and Arcane Surge here. But this is a very, 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 very tanky build. And actually very good DPS. So I can 100% recommend this, especially if you want to get into like bossing and that. I don't know if this clip has just tanking a Sirus beam. I did try to tank the Meteor. Unfortunately, that one's a no-go. But everything else you can tank no problem. The die beam and all that. So yeah, let this play and then we'll hop over and go over the gear. Enjoy, guys. All right, so now we'll hop over here. We'll do a map. And one thing I can stress before I even go over the gear and the changes and that, you want to... So our res right now, pretty bad. But you perma sustain these from mechanics we'll talk about in a second. 100% when you go into a map, always make sure you pop these so you are res capped, or else you'll have a bad time, especially if you forget this one too. Yeah, it's just going to be a Minotaur map. Turbo, Ink AoE, reduce damage from crits, so it's like a negative mod for us because we're obviously crit, and boss has extra damage. But we'll go through and then clear this. Talk about the build, mechanics and everything. And build is pretty damn tanky. I wasn't very happy with it before. When we were using the Blood Magic Shield and that. We did have like more armor because we had Determination before. So we were like 50 something thousand armor and like 30k evasion, but there was still, it was still 75 all res. There was no block. It would still die to stuff. once we changed stuff around, went into Aegis and that, this feels a lot better as far as tankiness. And like, you know, we're max block. You can kind of just sit in packs and not worry about getting, you know, chipped down. Like, you're just going to regen everything. The only thing there is I don't have corrupted blood immunity, so that one there, so I was hurting so bad. And one thing I did notice that's weird with corrupted blood, it doesn't actually proc this used when you start bleeding. So obviously we're immune to elements because we have purity of elements, but like with corrupted blood, this Flask mod does not proc when you have corrupted blood. So I guess they don't distinguish between the two. But yeah, obviously having a corrupted blood jewel, you really wouldn't have to worry about anything standing in it because we're Chaos Res capped and everything. So we'll just go to our friend Minotaur here, hang out with him, and then we'll go over the gear. So the whole build's focused around Energy Blade. Energy Blade, if you see, if we actually take it off, our energy shield is actually 17,000 right now. So Energy Blade, it transforms your weapon. Your weapon does not matter. It doesn't matter what's on it, any enchants, anything like that. You are literally just using your weapon for the sockets. So like harvest enchants, nothing really matters on it. And then you'll see when you proc it, you're going to get all that extra damage, and it turns your weapon into an Energy Blade. It has that 15% increased attack speed on there because of our helmet enchant. And the chance of shock also. Normally the gem is 10% crit chance, but we are crit chance capped for our CoC skill. So we just went with the chance of shock, even though it doesn't really matter too much. Our rings are just getting a lot of strength and int because we're using Shaper's Touch. So more strength, more energy shield, and then int, more evasion rating. Dexterity is kind of meh, but so these are life and energy shield, and we craft all attributes. This one's pretty much the same, and Chaos Res on here. So we're at 73 Chaos Res right now. Let me actually just do this for now. Our amulet, a best in slot would be Eyes of the Great Wolf with global defense and attributes, but they're big expensive. So this is just like an energy shield amulet with stats and fire and chaos. You know, attributes be better than that. And then Jorgen crafted. So Jorgen in research transforms non-influenced amulets like that into a talisman. So you just farm him and throw these amulets at him until you hit one with attributes. We're using Crown of the Inward Eye. Obviously, this could be 21% to be better. It would give a lot more defense and everything. That's giving a lot of damage through all the transfigurations. And then, obviously, we're in Aegis now. So, with Aegis, we're replenishing a bunch of our energy shield when we block, which we are max block. This also gives us some nice armor and energy shield too. Our boots are just Tailwind, elusive. 20 movement speed on here. Not even like good at all. No energy shield on here. They are pretty bad. Pretty much bought these dirt cheap. They're like a failed woke orb essentially for someone. Belts, pretty nice. You can make these belts with the combination, which is funny that they're still so expensive. Literally just spamming fundamental and aberrant fossils. So you're looking for the attributes, and then you're looking for the chaos res, and then you can finish your prefixes by locking suffixes and then reforge defense, anything like that. And pretty easy to make with that. Tools just strengthen life, yes. Shaper's Touch gloves with attack speed. And that does it for our gear. Now we'll go over the gems. So for gems, in our weapon we have Anomalous Energy Blade, obviously. We're rocking Enduring Cry here. So We have Call to Arms, so we use Enduring Cry. And it's instant, that's why we have it on our left mouse button. We have Defiance Banner. As you'll see, we have quite a bit of auras. We have Defiance Banner here. We have Grace, Zealotry, Purity of Elements, and Enlighten in our helmet. We have Molten Shell, cast when damage taken, and Clarity in our shield. Obviously, you know, a lot of these gems be better with alt qualities and or qualities just in general. Rockin' Flame Dash with an Arcane Surge. Same thing here. You'd probably want Divergent for your Arcane Surge to last 6 seconds. Because right now, only Flame Dash, you know, it's just 4 seconds. Mark on hit here. And Sniper's Mark. Assassin's Mark is nice. And depending on what skill you end up going with, you can do Assassin's Mark. And it'll be better. As you see from our inventory, we tested a lot of skills going through and doing different stuff. Ultimately, this was my favorite just because it feels so good for clearing. And then our single target, I like to swap out Freezing Pulse actually and go into a single CoC setup. We'll go over that in a second though. Gloves, we have Precision here, Tempest Shield, Arrogance, and Discipline. So our actual main skills, we have Anomalous Lancing Steel, Ice Spear, Awakened CoC, Increased Crit damage. Well, when you're clearing, Freezing Pulse here, so it's double CoC, and GMP and Inspiration. You actually don't want Divergent here. I would go for Anomalous to get more crit on your spells themselves. Right now it's like 89 in that. This really isn't doing much. We leech so much from Clever Thief for our Anoint that our mana pretty much never changes. I would hit him, but he would die because he's already half-life just from getting hit by our Tempest Shield. Funny enough. And then when you're on single target, you can keep Freezing Pulse, but I find it's pretty against bosses. So I actually just put increased crit damage here. And that's the gems. Now we'll go over the tree. So the tree, how we are perma-sustaining these 2 flasks, and why we never have to use them again because of the reuse at the end of this flask effect. Big thing here is this Brutal Restraint. The big thing that matters here is the first node, Denoted Service, the Balbala mod. So that gives us this notable. It transforms a notable into the Traitor. And this gives us flasks gain 4 charges per empty flask slot every 5 seconds. So you notice that we're missing 2 flasks here. That is the reason for that. So we are perma-sustaining these flasks. We only have to hit them at the beginning of the map. Never have to worry about them again. And then for your other flasks, you can really use what you want. You can use an armor flask. I use an Onslaught just to get a little bit extra movement because our boots aren't that great and stuff. Makes Lancing Steel feel a little bit better. Really nothing too crazy with it. So we have our Forbidden Flame here with Radiant Faith and Forbidden Flesh, same idea. The best jewel actually in this build would be Sanctuary of Thought, but they are giga expensive, and these are much, much, much cheaper. This is 3x right now. Not many postings, I feel like, because of BPL. And this one, there's one up for 4x. But there's only like 3 or 4 postings of these. And like I said, I feel like that's because of BPL right now. We are pathing down here for this reservation node. Increased damage for each of your aura or herald skills affecting you. We have a lot of auras, so this is giving us a lot of generic damage. Call to Arms, obviously, because we're using Enduring Cry. If you don't want to use Enduring Cry, you can use Vitality instead. But obviously using Enduring Cry, it's a crazy amount of regen for our ES thanks to Zealot's Oath. Because normally, you know, this is regenerating 2,000 life over 1 second. So I kind of wait till I kind of get chunked to show it. We're taking this Utmost Strength, increase attributes overall, Melding of the Flesh. Here we go. So, I mean, you can see it regen really fast. Melting of the Flesh. This is, so Aegis gives +5 to max cold res. Melting of the Flesh, because of that, makes it so that all our res can be 80% then. So we take advantage of that. We obviously have Glancing Blows. Ooh, he's getting a little close there. So you see you can pop that, and you pretty much regen it all. Glancing Blows to make us max block. So block attack damage 76, block spell damage 68. We are taking Sanctum of Thought for extra armor, energy shield. Take Solve here, and this one has life reservation efficiency. Purity of Flesh, extra life. Here we're taking Arcane Guarding and taking the energy shield nodes along the way to give us extra ES, because again with the build, more energy shield you have, that's the more flat lightning damage that's going to be added when you actually use Energy Blade. Pathing over, taking a jewel slot. This is pretty bad. It's just crit multi, strength, max ES. We're taking Utmost Intellect and increased damage per 5 of your lowest attribute. So that goes off Dexterity. Probably really could swap this out for something else. It's not that much damage really because our Dexterity is so low. Coming over here, we're in Pain Attunement because obviously we're always low life. Our Watcher's Eye is Chaos Res and max mana as max ES while affected by Clarity. And then here we have a max ES, increase effect jewel to give us a lot of ES and attributes. And then we're using 2 split personalities with strength and intellect. Don't finish the wheel because we actually come down here. I find this to be worth, honestly, this Unnatural Instinct slot. We also have Ghost Stance, but I find this one to be worth. As you can see, all the bonuses we get from it. The accuracy is kind of eh, but the extra mana, life, chaos resistance, we get... Ooh, we actually died. Got us there. The turbo coming through and killing us. So now let me put on all the auras again. Glorified Aura Bot. And we'll go back in there. I realize he's almost dead to our Tempest Shield too, funny enough. I was wondering, because I think he probably would have died before. So he also has Ink AoE, he has Turbo. He's taking reduced damage from a crits. He has increased damage. Yeah, I'm surprised. He's almost dead from Tempest Shield. Let's look at his health. Yeah, I mean he's probably gonna die to it. But he definitely would be dead if he didn't have more life and reduced damage from crits. Actually, let me kill him. Okay, wait. So I should have been dead there. I didn't have my Flask up. But let me just kind of show the damage. So you want to hit the Lancing Steel. And then, you know, that melts him. Anyway. Let's go back to showing this. So Unnatural here is actually really nice. We get some sustain from like mapping with ES on kill. Dexterity, Intelligence, some crit chance, which will help you cap out. You have 100% crit chance with Lancing Steel. And Chaos Res. Like all the stuff here is pretty nice. If you want to opt out of not taking it, you can save 3 points. Ghost Stance is way too good. Definitely take that. And you could obviously like finish this wheel off for anything you want. And for our Ascendancy, Instruments of Virtue, Righteous Providence, Inevitable Judgment, and Penitence here. So that is, I think, covered everything. But yeah, we are max block, 25k armor. We're not using Determination because we don't need it. If we were going to use Determination, we would swap to the Sanctuary of Thought, Forbidden Flesh, and Forbidden Flame. And that would give us a bunch more ES, Reservation, AoE, all that fun stuff. But yeah, the build is, I mean, as you can see, we pretty much killed Tempest Shield. Tempest Shield 1 link pretty much killed a Minotaur with reduced damage from crits, which we obviously are crit focused. He has 45% increased life. He did kill us once. He has, you know, extra AoE, attack damage, and turbo. He did get us once. He got his revenge in. But pretty much face tank like everything in the game. Sirus, same thing, the beams and everything. One thing I would recommend is getting Corrupted Blood immunity. That way you don't have to use your Flask when you get Corrupted Blood on you. You can literally just face tank everything. But another good thing with the build is you can literally use any 2 spells you want. As you can see from our inventory, on stream we were testing like all different spells. So you can literally use any combo of... So if you want to do 1 skill for CoC, I would recommend this setup. If you want to use double, I would recommend dropping increased crit damage and literally use whatever 2 spells you want. There were some that were more single target, but kind of pain clearing. Notably, like Divergent Purifying Flame is nice, gives you extra damage. Blazing Salvo is nice. Firestorm is actually pretty nice, no joke. It does some pretty good single target. Divergent Ball Lightning, nice. Frostbolt. There's a lot of really good skills. So you can test out, try whatever you want, figure out whatever skill you want. Because we were generically scaled, we don't have like any focused auras. Like we have all our damage is essentially coming from Energy Blade, right? Like all that flat. So we're not using any damage auras like, you know, hatred, anger, stuff like that. We have zealotry, so very generic stuff. So you can literally use any spell you want, whether it be cold, fire, lightning, anything like that, and all the damage from Energy Blade is going to be put into that. So yeah, the build, at first I was a little skeptical on it before we actually went into the block and Aegis and that. Like it was still really tanky, but you would still die to stuff, and I didn't really like that. And I'm much happier with where it is now, and this character is very tanky. I can definitely recommend it. It's not, like, you know, it's not like my Penance Brand last build, a Zoom build and that, but if you literally want a giga tanky character that can do anything and pretty much just like face tank all content, 100% recommend this build right here. I think from here we're on to our next build, which is going to be, it's going to be an interesting one. I can say it's going to be a ranger, but it's going to be pretty interesting. We'll see if a build guide actually comes out on that one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, recommendations or anything, let me know. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one, and take care, guys. Thanks for watching.